We're talking crop markets now with Dr. John Michael Riley, and it's the time of year when really a lot of numbers are coming in. You and your peers are sorting it all out. Let's talk about that, but first start with how harvest of summer crops and then of course wheat planting are going.
So as you mentioned, a lot of information coming in, markets trying to make heads and tails of everything. And we'll just kind of, as you mentioned, kick things off. Overall, across the U.S., 51% of the wheat crop is in the ground. And, in Oklahoma, a little bit behind that at 32%. 14% emerged. I was driving around this weekend, saw a little bit of green out there in some of those fields, but most of them are still fairly bare or just planted. So we're behind schedule in regard to where we're typically at this time of year. A lot of that has to do with dryness that we've been dealing with. We're still have that taking place, but I think we're going to continue to move forward with planting here in Oklahoma. Looking at some other crops, 30% of the corn crop is harvested. That's right on par with where we typically are at. 47% of the soybean crop is harvested. Again, we're a little bit ahead of schedule on that one. So our summer crops across the U.S. have really been strong all year, and that's put some pressure on prices. We'll get some of that later on, but it's still shaping out to be pretty decent.
Let's talk some of the numbers now and the report that came out last week. What did you see in the stocks report?
So last week got the quarterly grain stocks report, and for the most part, less grain overall in commercial facilities and on-farm storage than what the market was expecting heading into that report, which gave a little bit of a boost to price. Wheat grain stocks of 1.985 billion bushels. That was down about 7 million bushels from what pre-market analysts were thinking. Corn, 1.76 billion bushels, down pretty drastically, 84 million bushels from what the market was anticipating. And then for soybeans, 342 million bushels in commercial facilities and on-farm, just slightly below what the market was anticipating. So overall, our stocks are lower than where we were thinking they were going to be. As we look forward now, at the end of this week, we're going to get a World Ag Supply and Demand Estimates report, and it's going to be incorporating a lot more of this information that we've been discussing, how harvest is shaping up with actual boots on the ground as opposed to projections. So that World Ag Supply and Demand Estimates report is going to bring some of this new quarterly grain stocks information into it. And also, as we think about projecting forward beyond the marketing year, it's going to be one that we're keying on very, very heavily.
With these factors that you talked about, how is the market reacting this week?
So starting here with wheat, had some strength there, poked its head above the $6 mark for a little bit. It's right there at $6 as we're talking right now. Across Oklahoma, we're about 50 cents below that. In most of the state outside of the Panhandle, it's a little bit lower than that. In terms of, it's about 85 cents below that $6 mark. Most of the rest is just about 50 cents below. Corn, we're trading just above $4 at $4.20. Most of Oklahoma is slightly below that. The Panhandle is a lot stronger, obviously, because of the feedlots. In soybeans, we're at $10.20, so we're staying above that $10 mark, but it's been the most under pressure. Shipments, exports are what's putting the pressure on soybeans, and everything else is kind of a little bit better on the export side of things.
Okay, some promising news sprinkled in there. That's good to hear.
Yes.
All right, John Michael, we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.